Long shot through the card. Score! Common score win. It's a big one for the Kings.
91, Colin Chaulk, Toronto, Ontario, captain.
Do you ever try to encourage other players to get fired up like that sometimes? Not maybe necessarily in that negative way, but ever try to get in another guy's face or an opponent's face? Or
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's not my way, because how I believe is, like, me and you're playing a game of cards, and when you wake me up about, like, chirping me, or hey, you're not this, you're not that, or whatever, it's gonna make me want to beat you more, and I don't want to give anyone more fuel to beat me. I want to just silently kill them and move on to the next opponent. Now, sometimes you get fired up. It's hard to control your emotions, especially in the heat of the battle, and you might say things to kind of get yourself going, get yourself into it, and then also, fire the other team up. Now, I'm not saying that that's the best way, because in a team there's many people that that also helps them to get going, and it also, some people can't handle that, right? So you have to figure out that, all right, if you're on me and it's having me play better, and I'm on the other team, maybe you should choose not to do that next time. Now, if you see that I can't handle that, I start to, my body language starts to, kind of quiver, or kind of, subside a little bit. I start, I'm not playing as well, making bad decisions. I'm making early decisions. You can tell I'm a little bit jittery. I'm a little bit, and you're playing, the Kalamazoo Wings 18 times. Like, if you're not preparing, before the game and knowing your opponents, you're preparing for failure. I mean, I think it's John Gruden's famous quote that, I don't know, or many coaches have used that it's just, so, but like Kelly Schrock, for example, that gets him in the game, and that's what he, that's kind of what he does. He kind of goes after some guys, and he's on them all the time, but I think there's a level of class and a level of sportsmanship that you have to walk, in my opinion. I wouldn't want to be perceived that way, but for some people, they've been very wealthy doing it, and that's how they live. That's how they survive. Maybe a smaller player, if they don't play that way with that edge, they're not going to be on the team. So, it's you got to kind of eat what you kill, I guess. Sort of. I mean, it's got to be in that you have to. You kind of have to have that switch, that mindset, when the game comes on, and some people can't, make that switch, whereas, like, I always use the example that when the puck goes in the corner, like, if I don't get it from you, my kids don't eat, so I will put my stick through your face if I have to. I'm sorry for that. I'm not trying to hurt you, but, that's part of the game, and it's, why I've been able to play as long as I have, and success that we've had good people around us, but you kind of have to have that a little bit of craziness.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Get us all out for that thought.
Controlled craziness, obviously.
Controlled chaos.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why do lines change fairly dramatically based on, like, if you're on the penalty kill or power play? Like, how are those determined? And why is it that not every player does that? Why is it that some guys don't get included on those lines and some do?
It's amazing where, you kind of get, kind of like pigeon-toed into a role. It's almost like you're, the kind of person you are. You like this kind of music, you like this clothes or whatever. And the same thing with hockey. It's like the coach sees you as one way, and then, like, that's it.
That's your
so
role.
Once you get pigeon-toed in that, you're a penalty killer, you love rock or whatever. It's like, people see you as, as that role or as that person, and it's no different. You're a penalty killer, and you don't have any offensive upside. If this coach sees you that way, then it's hard to, when you go to a new team, they have preconditioned idea of you, and it's hard to it's really difficult to try and get someone to change the way they think of you. So it's like they see you as a role based on your stats. So what happens is they see you first. Okay, they look at all you guys, where you're from. How many goals, how many assists, how many penalty minutes, your plus minus, this little piece of paper like hockey database, whatever. So they already have an opinion of you right away. Never seen you, no clue, nothing. Alrighty, this guy here, he's gonna be a role guy. What's a role guy? Like penalty kills. He hits. He fights. He blocks shots. Right. So he's a mucker. He's a soldier. Right. Essentially. Right. He's not this. It's like.
What
So
you would call maybe a role player.
He's a role player, right? He's an Indian. He's not a chief. Whatever, term or playing words you want to use, and this guy could have an amazing shot. He could have went to University of Maine that they play a style that's very defensive. He never had a chance to be in that role, So it's, when you come in, do you already have him, kind of set in that role? So most of the time, yes, Most of the time, it works out that way. There's an injury, he gets a chance, boom, he's a scorer. Then what? You got a problem. It's a good problem, But how do you manage it? So it's like, and then obviously, if you're doing well again, and the job is getting, the penalty kill is 80-90%. Should be high 80s, low 90s. He's gonna roll with the same guys because you build trust with those people. Right? It's no different than a friend. I mean, you have something, if something goes wrong, you don't go to some guy you don't really care for or like. You go to someone who's going to be, who's going to be there for you when things are bad. Not when you're buying lunch and beers and whatever. You got all kinds of friends, right? When things are going really bad for you, right? Who's there for you? Everyone turn and run. So it's the same thing. It's no different. When the coach feels that trust value, he puts those people out there.
Right.
And sometimes when things are going bad, he keeps turning to the same guys, right? So the fatigue, the mental, the draining, all that stuff, all those factors play into the decision.
Long shot through the crowd. Score! Common